Alright, so with the news that the Arizona Coyotes will not be getting a new arena and that they will likely be relocated to a new city, I'm going to relocate them in NHL 23 to see if they can finally win a Stanley Cup. They were supposed to have a new arena built next season or the year after, something crazy like that, but the governor of Arizona has denied it or something like that. Anyways, all I know is they're not getting a new arena, which means they're going to play another season in a college hockey rink, which for an NHL team is just straight sad. But today we have some good news. They are going to be relocated to Halifax as the Halifax Thunderbirds. That city's absolutely booming right now. Fresh off of the World Juniors, which was the best in several years. Shit, I forgot to change the arena name. That is alright though. We're going to be playing out of Aces Arena, not the Scotiabank Center. We are going to be moving east to the Atlantic Division for the Detroit Red Wings, as the Red Wings were in the Western Conference before. When did they switch? In like 2015? Something like that? I remember as a kid they were in the West, but now they're in the East. So this is our starting roster that we're going to be working with, as we all know is not very good. Our best player is Clayton Keller at an 89 overall. Nick Schmaltz is not bad. Wow, we have Voracek? I did not even know that. Our first line's not terrible, but the rest of the team's not very good. We have Zach Kassian as our third or fourth line winger. One thing we do need to do is keep Clayton Keller. He's going to be our franchise stud. He has 6 years left at $8.7 million, so he's going to be here for a while. Hopefully the computer can build a Stanley Cup contender around him. Defensively, we're not very good either. Our goalies aren't very good either. We are going to simulate until the Halifax Thunderbirds win a Stanley Cup. If you're new here and you enjoy videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. At the end of season number 1, Halifax would finish dead last in the Atlantic, going 28, 39, and 15. That is a terrible record. No surprise here though, we already know it's going to take a few years before we become competitive at least. Toronto was the bbest team in hockey this season. They still won't win a Stanley Cup. Clayton Keller would lead our team in points with 61. He also had 19 goals. He was tied with Matthias Marsa. I can't even pronounce that name. Anyways, he had 61 too. Voracek had 59, Schmaltz 58. Yeah, we did not have a lot of point-producing players. I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but he would play 67 games in goal for us. Not very good stats either. A 3.16 goals against average. Halifax desperately needs to level up here. Oh my god, and minus 17, minus 11. Yeah, everybody was pretty much minuses. Jack Hughes would have the most points in the entire NHL with 103, followed by Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Steven Stamkos, and Jason Robertson. For goals, Matthews would have the most, followed by Robertson, Ovechkin with 43, Tkachuk had 41, Brady Tkachuk, not Matthew. Marchand would have 40, McDavid would have 40, Jesper Bratt had 38. Unfortunately, we are not in the playoffs, but this is what the playoff bracket looks like. We have Boston and Toronto in round number 1. That is going to be a movie. The Carolina Hurricanes would go on to win the Stanley Cup as they beat Calgary in 5 games. Toronto would actually make it all the way to the conference finals, but lose to Carolina in 5 games. Not bad, Toronto. Jack Hughes would take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. The Norris would go to Quinn Hughes. Svechnikov would take home the Conn Smythe, and Anze Kopitar would take home the Selke. This is what our year 2 roster is looking like. We picked up Vladdy Tarasenko at an 86 overall. Alright, so we're slowly improving. We also have Barrett Hayton, who now is an 87 overall. Voracek dropped down to an 84, but that's okay. Our bottom 6 is still not very good, but hopefully they will grow. We have Dylan Gunther, who is a young player. Okay, our roster is slightly improved from last season. Defensively, we picked up Dmitry Orlov. That is a huge pickup for us. Still, though, our defense is not very good. Orlov is our best defenseman at an 85, but that is pretty much it. Victor Mete, what happened to him? And in goal, oh my god, we picked up Malcolm Subban at a 79 overall. Halifax would have a better season this year, but still would not make the playoffs. We would finish with a 33, 42, and 7 record and finish 7th in the Atlantic. We did finish above Montreal, though. Yet again, Keller would lead our team in points, this time with 70, followed by Barrett Hayton with 65, Vladdy Tarasenko 61, and Nick Schmaltz 60. Tarasenko would have 32 goals, though. That is a huge upgrade. But I mean, everybody on our team was basically minuses. Minus 14, 17, 11, 16, 15, minus 21. Kraus was a minus 27. Oh yeah, this team is terrible. And as you can expect, our goalie stats are not very good. I don't even know how these, well, they each got 1 shutout apiece, but I don't even know how. They were absolutely atrocious in the net. Austin Matthews would have a huge season, 66 goals and 122 points, followed by McDavid's 109, Malkin 109, Braden Point had 105, and Kucherov, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Kuznetsov. For goals, obviously Matthews had the most. McDavid was 2nd, Kucherov was 3rd, and Ovi was up there with 53. Okay, shout out to the grade 8. And the Carolina Hurricanes are going to go back-to-back as they beat, wait a minute, they beat Calgary in 5 games yet again? What the hell is going on in the simulation? We had the exact same Stanley Cup final in the exact same amount of games. EA Sports, it's in the game. Matthews would take home the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Quinn Hughes with his second Norris. Yet again, Svechnikov would take home the Conn Smythe. UC Saros got the Vezina. And Anze Kopitar with another Selke Trophy. How many does he have in his career? I know he won a couple back in the early 2010s, but he hasn't won one in a long ass time. After the offseason, our roster is very much improved, to be honest. We picked up Barbarainoff at an 86, and Dylan Guenther has grown up to an 86 also. We would pick up David Krejci, 83 overall, 38 years old. He's probably going to retire soon. Kubalik, 84. Overall, though, our forward core is a lot better than past years. Defensively, we're still not the greatest. A little better than last season, though. And our goalies are god-awful. Craig Anderson, at 43 years old, is our starting goaltender. Halifax would just barely miss the playoffs, finishing 2 points out, 4th in the Atlantic with a 40, 35, and 7 record. God damn it, Toronto. You had to take the last division spot. We were 2 points out. They had 89. We had 87. No. Same amount of wins, but they had 2 more overtime losses. That's all right. We'll get them next year. We're improving, though. Clayton Keller would have a big season. 25 goals, 83 points. Dylan Guenther had 69. Nice. Barbarainoff at 63. Krejci at 57. Barrett Hayton at 56. Schmaltz 53. Most of the players are still minuses, but not as bad as in past seasons. Orlov was a plus 24. Okay, buddy. I definitely want to keep you. How many years left? 3 more years left on his deal. Our goalies were still not very good. We were basically carried by our skating core, I guess you would call it. Craig Anderson only played 36 games. The other guy played 40. Yeah, we already know the deal here. Our goalies are not very good. McDavid would have the most points in the NHL with 114, followed by McKinnon's 112. Rantanen had 105. Stammer 97. He would also have the most goals at 61, followed by Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, and who the hell is this guy? Kevin, I can't even pronounce that last name. I'm not even going to try. But he had 47 goals along with Jack Eichel. How old is this guy? 18 years old, 47 goals in his rookie year, 73 points. This guy's going to be an absolute stud. Okay, what the absolute is going on? The Carolina Hurricanes are going to three-peat as they beat the Colorado Avalanche in 7 games in the Stanley Cup final. They have won 3 straight Stanley Cups. That is insane. I've never seen that before. Connor McDavid is the greatest player to ever exist. Adam Fox would take home the Norris. Svechnikov will take home his 3rd straight Conn Smythe. Georgiev would take home the Vezina, and Nico Hischier would take home the Selke. Our roster now is much improved. Clayton Keller is a 90 overall, Barrett Hayton's an 88, and Barbarainoff is an 86 on our first line. Our second line is also very good with 2 87s and an 86 and Nick Schmaltz up the middle. Our bottom 6 is not the greatest, but honestly, it'll do. Our top 6, we are very top heavy, to be honest. Defensively, we are a little better than last season. Orlov is an 86. He's going to trail off soon, though. And our goaltending is still not very good. If we could pick up a goaltender, we could be a Stanley Cup contender, but we definitely need a goalie. Like a legit #1 starting elite goalie. Halifax would yet again just barely miss the playoffs, this time by 1 point to the Ottawa Senators. We couldn't even grab a wild card spot. Oh my god, we were 1 point off. Jesus Christ. We had a record of 40, 33, and 9. Clayton Keller would have the most points on our team with 70, followed by Dylan Guenther 68, Barrett Hayton 57, Kubalik 55, and we had a couple other 50-point scorers. Our goalies were yet again our downfall, man. We need to pick up a starting goalie. Barely a 9 save percentage and a 303 goals against average. That is absolutely terrible. Stamkos would have the most points in the entire NHL at age 36 with 107, followed by Connor McDavid's 101, David Pastrnak, Zach Benson, Andrei Svechnikov, Mikko Rantanen. Pasta would have the most goals with 54, followed by Rantanen's 51, Stamkos 49, he had a huge season, Marchand 45, Draisaitl 44, and Zach Benson with 44. And yet again, another year goes by that the Halifax Thunderbirds are not in the playoffs. Just hurts me, bro. It hurts me. Halifax is a goated city. It needs some playoff hockey. Oh, and by the way, I swear to God, if the Carolina Hurricanes win another Stanley Cup, their 4th in a row, I'm going to rage quit this entire simulation. I better not see them win the Stanley Cup. And finally, we have a new Stanley Cup winner, the Chicago Blackhawks, as they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7 games. Stamkos would take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Rasmus Dahlin would take home the Norris. Seth Jones would... Oh my god, I can't even do that. There is no way Seth Jones took home the Conn Smythe. Oh my god, EA Sports. Bob took home the Vezina, and Bo Horvat would take home the Selke. Clayton Keller is still a 90 overall. We picked up Leo Carlson. I don't know if we traded for him or we signed him in the offseason. He still has 1 year left on his rookie deal, so I guess we traded for him. That is a huge pickup. We need to keep him. A first-line franchise centerman who's already an 85 overall at 21 years old. Dylan Guenther already up to an 89 overall. Put him on the first line. I gotta be honest, this team's starting to shape up. Defensively, though, we still need some help overall. Our D is not very good. Pause. And goaltending, can we please, oh my god, we picked up Matt Murray. Can we please get a starting goalie? Just anything better than fucking Matt Murray at 32 years old, or whoever the hell this guy is. I don't know who he is. Karel Vendichenbekak. Listen, buddy, I'm sorry. You might be a great hockey player, but Halifax does not need you. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what happened to Halifax this season. We were absolutely terrible. We would finish dead last in the Atlantic with a 38, 37, and 7 record. Not very good, boys. Jesus Christ, can we at least get a playoff spot? We're in dead last in our division after almost making it for 2 years in a row. Clayton Keller would lead our team in points yet again, 76 points, followed by 71 from Matthias. Leo Carlson also at 71. Guenther, 67. Barrett Hayton, 56. Nick Schmaltz was a minus 19. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I think it's our goalies that are very much hurting us. 27 and 25, but dude, your stats were fucking terrible. Like, not even a 900 save percentage and almost a 3.5 goals against average, but almost 4. And Matt Murray, I'm not even going to count him as a goaltender at this point. We desperately need a goalie. I think GM Pasta might have to step in here, boys. Sidney Crosby at age 39 would have the most points in the NHL with 117, followed by Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Stützle, Jason Robertson, that amazing young guy. Oh my god, he had 58 goals. Steven Stamkos had 54. McDavid would tie with him for the most goals in the NHL with 58. Then Stammer, Skinner, Jeff Skinner at 52 goals? Okay, buddy, I appreciate your greatness. Now all we have to ask is, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? Because honestly, I don't really know. And the Carolina Hurricanes are the greatest dynasty in all of hockey. They have 4 Stanley Cups in 5 seasons as they beat the Nashville Predators in 7 games in the Stanley Cup final. I guess they are the new Colorado Avalanche. But I mean, in real life, it's not looking too hot for them right now, being down 3-0 to Florida. Crosby would take home Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Adam Fox with another Norris. Svechnikov with his 4th Conn Smythe of his career. One of the best playoff performers of all time. Couturier would take home the Selke. Hopefully this can be the season that we finally make the playoffs. Clayton Keller is an 89 overall. Leo Carlson, 87. Dylan Guenther, 89. We have a very good first line. Our second line is pretty good, to be honest, too. We have a bit more depth this season. Hopefully we can finally make the playoffs, because I'm sick of losing. But I mean, with this defense core, I truly cannot see us honestly making the playoffs. And we need another upgrade. Well, we have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He's 28 years old, though. He's not going to get any better. We need an upgrade on D and in goal. So hopefully next season we can get that, or even through the year, maybe. Yet again, somehow Halifax would finish dead last in the Atlantic with a 32, 43, and 7 record. Ah, this is going to take a while, isn't it? Dylan Guenther would actually lead our team in points. He had a great year, 41 goals, 74 points. Clayton Keller only had 70 and 13 goals. That is not going to cut it, buddy. Followed by Barrett Hayton, 61. Leo Carlson, 58. Nick Schmaltz, 57. Minus 10, minus 13, minus 15, minus 14, minus 20, minus 24. Yeah, this team is not very good. A lot of minuses here. Our goaltending obviously is not very good. I think it's our defense and our goaltending that is really holding us back at this point. Matthews would have the most points in the entire NHL with 104, followed by passes, 103. This amazing young stud yet again putting up amazing numbers. Connor McDavid, 102. Jake Gensel, Connor Bedard hit his first 100-point season. And he's on the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, EA, you got something right there. For goals, Matthews would be tied with Pasta with 55 for the most in the NHL. Columbus would go on to win the Stanley Cup as they beat San Jose in 5 games. Matthews would take home the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Adam Fox with his 2nd straight Norris, 3rd in 4 years. Zach Werenski would take home the Conn Smythe. So our roster is actually very much improved. We have Leo Carlson at an 87, Barrett Hayton 89, Mark Stone. We picked up Mark Stone, who's 36 years old, 85 overall. Dylan Guenther is an 89 overall, and I just checked out, and we're paying him $12.2 million. That is a heavy overpay. We must have drafted this Braylon Mitchell guy, who's 18 years old. He has medium elite potential at an 81 overall, so he's going to be absolute stud. We have him for 3 more years on his entry-level deal. Defensively, we're still not the greatest, but we are a little improved, to be honest. This guy, Anisimov, has low elite potential at an 82 overall. He's only 23 years old. He's going to grow, but we do have to re-sign him next season. And finally, we have a starting goalie in Spencer Knight, and our backup is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I guess we traded for Spencer Knight in the offseason. How many years left left does he have? He has 1 year left at $6.7 million. Hopefully we can re-sign him in the offseason. And Halifax has yet again missed the playoffs, finishing 39, 32, and 11 with 89 points. Leo Carlsson would have a big season, 23 goals, 81 points. Mark Stone had 73 at age 36. Barrett Hayton had 62, Gunther 56. Yeah, trails off about after that. How was Spencer Knight? Spencer Knight, 33, 26, 2 shutouts, 9 save percentage, and 3 goals against average. Not the greatest, to be honest. Maybe it's our defense, not our goaltending, that was holding us back. Draisaitl will have the most points in the entire NHL with 118, followed by Pasternak. Big Kevin, 106. He had 57 goals. Braden Point, Matthew Barzal, Mikko Rantanen. Big Kevin would lead the entire NHL in goals with 57. He had a 7-goal lead on second place, who was Benjamin Emerson. And the Montreal Canadiens will go on to win the Stanley Cup as they beat Nashville in 6 games in the Stanley Cup final. Leon Draisaitl is in fact him. Quinn Hughes with another Norris. The Conn Smythe would go to Bard Dillette. I don't even know how to say that name. And Nico Hischier takes home another Selke trophy. So again, our forward core is actually pretty decent, to be honest. We have the regulars, Barrett Hayton, Leo Carlsson, Dylan Gunther. This Mitchell guy is up to an 87 overall, 19 years old. That's going to be huge. Yeah, our forward core is not our problem. It's our defense, which is pretty mid, to be honest. Not very good. Anisimov, an 82. Hopefully he can grow up to a stud defender. And we lost Spencer Knight in the offseason. That's just great. We have a 69 as our backup goaltender. Another season of Halifax being absolutely shit. We would finish dead last in the Atlantic with a 31, 45, and 6 record. What do we have to do to make the playoffs? Like, come on, man. Gunther would have a big season, 32 goals, 82 points. Leo Carlsson, 75. Barrett Hayton, 56. It trails off from there. Goaltending's to be expected. Not very good. Oh my god. Capo Kakinen had not even a 900 save percentage and a 3.51 goals against average. We just can't keep a goalie. We had a good goalie in Spencer Knight, but he left in the free agency. Cole Coffey will actually lead the NHL in points with 107, followed by Nick Suzuki, Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid, and Matthew Barzal. And here's what the playoff bracket looks like. Man, we are not in here, and this is sad. I will be back as soon as the Halifax Thunderbirds make the playoffs. Please be next season. It is time to plan the parade. The Halifax Thunderbirds have finally made the playoffs. You don't know how happy I am right now. In the very last game of the season, we won to get in the playoffs. The very next year, after I said I was done until we made the playoffs, we would finish with a 44, 30, and 8 record. We would actually get the first wildcard spot, not even the second. We were in 7th place. This was a tight ass race. Look at that. Florida missed out by 1 point. Tampa 1 point. Damn. If we didn't win that last game, we would not be in the playoffs. Richie would lead our team in points with 77, followed by Rodden, 73, Gunther, 72, 71, Barrett Hayton, 65. Ola Rodden scored 45 goals and had 73 points. An absolute stud. Jesper Wallstedt had it okay, not very great year though. 3 goals against average, 36 wins, 1 shutout, 900 save percentage. And the Halifax Thunderbirds are going to be playing the Pittsburgh Penguins in round number 1. Let's go. Do not disappoint me, please, for the love of God. Somehow Halifax has made the Stanley Cup final against the LA Kings. We were down 3-1 in that Buffalo series in the conference finals, but we clawed our way back and won in game 7. I can't believe what I'm seeing. How are we in the Stanley Cup final? Please, we did not come this far just to choke in the Stanley Cup final. And finally, the Halifax Thunderbirds are Stanley Cup champions. We were down 3-1 again in the Stanley Cup final, but somehow we clawed our way back. I have no idea how to force a game 7, and we clutched out a game 7 victory. We missed the playoffs every single year besides this season. The Conn Smythe winner is Dylan Gunther. He's been here since the beginning. It's only fitting that he wins the Conn Smythe. The amount of seasons that we went through pain, missing the playoffs, getting close, just missing, and we finally got in this season. And in our first season in the playoffs, we are going to take home that Stanley Cup. And here comes our captain, Ivan Barbashev, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. The Halifax Thunderbirds are Stanley Cup champions. It's about damn time. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.